Y'all doing good? Listen, today is going to be quite interesting. Turn off the lights, light a candle, turn it off. that's what that's what's going to happen today. Listen, if you got any cheering in the room, listen, this is not family time. All right? Romper Room and Disney World, y'all wait till tonight to do that. Right now, have them leave the room right now. Although, when you're asleep at night, your kids is watching what I'm getting ready to show you. This right here is called the 31 erogenous zones. All right, and this is our last day with Angie D. Lee. We hate to see her go, but she got bigger and better things to do than hang around Sirwalterj Jones. She got a life. You understand what I'm saying? So share this with who can take it. Other than that, keep Mother Mayhem, Mother Bobo, and your pastor out of this conversation because they can't handle it. I'm going to tell you why in about 60. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, cause he's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones. He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones Show.
Come on in. The water's fine. Do yeah. Hey everybody, Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the midday connection, baby. Y'all come on in. The water's fine. Listen to Uncle Sir. Let's have a fireside chat. Can we please? I listen. Most of my listeners attend church. Many of you are quite faithful to it, and some of you just stay home because you got some church hurt. All right, got it. Much of your church hurt had to do with people all in your business, and especially in your bedroom. Okay? And so I know that there is a ritual that you husbands and wives have sexually, and some of it can be quite boring to one or the other. And content like what I've been presenting on every other Mondays with Angie D. Lee can be a bit much for some of you, especially older people, to take because all you knew from your church is what you should not do in bed. Instead of them telling you what you can do, they told you what you can't do, but they should not have been telling you anything. You understand? So we're going to talk about a subject matter where our show is not always about what's right or what's wrong, but what is. My books that I write is not about what's right or what's wrong, but what is. Christians deal with the what is, just like folks in the world. What is. With the hopes that you take all of the content and say, this is what I'm going to apply to my relationship. I've been married. I'm a professional marrier because I did it twice, right? I'm an expert at marriage. I did it a whole 2 times. And let me tell you, I know what a sexless marriage is. I know what it feels like to say I do to a woman and then we get into the bed and she says, I don't do that. My mother so-and-so told us we shouldn't do that. I know how it feels to be a young man with all of my piping work and everything works like a charm and you can't use it on the wife of your youth. You know how horrible that is for a man, and for some of the ladies it's horrible too, because I get people who hit me up who are female who says, I married this man, but yet he don't want to do the things that I have imagined doing, but his pastor told him he shouldn't be doing those things. with his wife. All right. So the things that she and I are going to talk about today may not be your style, may not be something that you do, may not be something that you like. But somebody in the comment section is saying, hurrah, thank you, Jesus, that there's a Christian man who could talk about the topics that he talk about, and I can apply it in my relationship. Because let me tell you, every time I do shows like this, every time I do a romance in the park, the missionaries and the evangelist women, what have you, these married women, they hit me up privately in private messages and say, do you not realize that you just saved my marriage? Do you realize that I haven't had such an enjoyable sexual pleasure last night? I've never had this, and I've been 25 years in this marriage, and I heard what you said in the park, and I said, please, husband, can we at least try it? And he tried it, and he enjoyed it, and we both are still going to heaven. Okay, all right. So that's for you who are too deep to watch this show. This show ain't for you. Go watch something that is let's say Febreze. Spray some Febreze and turn on that show and say, it might be the Hallmark Channel. Go watch the Hallmark Channel. But right now, we're about to get into some BET. Okay? And I'm going to do it with this young lady here. Her name is Angie D. Lee, and she is one of my favorite guests. Angie D, how are you, child?
I am well. How are you, Sirwalterj?
Man, I'm doing just amazing. I'm just amazing. Roger says, going to heaven with a smile on your face. Okay. All right. And for those of you who are single, listen, this show is for you too. These shows are for you as well, because then you can know what's going on as you get ready to go into holy matrimony. Then you could then say, wow, I didn't know this and I didn't know that. I have virgins who do watch the show who've never been touched by a man. They watch it, tell me they watch the show, never been touched. And some people don't know that they're virgins who are my age. I'm talking male and female. I know it's hard to believe. They have no body count, none. Okay, and they say, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't hear this. My mama didn't tell, my daddy didn't tell me this. All right, so this is important. You had a good day, Angie?
I am having a great day. This is exciting. We're gonna have some fun today.
Oh, we are. We're gonna have an amazing time. Okay, erogenous zones. What is that?
Okay, well, I can't give you all like the technical term, like the definition technical, but just to kind of give you an idea, is it's parts of your body
Mm-hmm.
that creates an arousal when it's touched, stroked, fondled,
All that
licked,
stuff.
sucked.
All that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so we're gonna open the whiteboard, get right to the subject matter because some of the people are waiting. All right, for us to get down, and well, it might be dirty to some, but to others, it's like this ain't dirty. This is what we do. Everything you need to know about erogenous zones, we have all have erogenous. We all have it. Is what they're saying here, but everyone's different, so you may not feel all that tingly goodness in the same area as another person. You agree with that?
Totally agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because there are spots in. Sorry. There are spots that everybody think is the same erogenous spot, and everybody's gonna feel that way until you meet that one person say, I don't like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want that. Or that tickles. I don't that tickles. or that just don't feel right. But to the last girl you had, it was her favorite spot. So I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Right. They said, that said, you likely have more of these hot spots than you know. All right, then you know. All right, so here's the picture that we put on YouTube and Facebook. All right, these are just a couple. All right, but I'm gonna go to this picture here. Look at that.
Look at that. A lot. So much to explore.
That's a lot of spots.
Hmm.
even down there.
Mhm.
That's a lot. Okay, because we always focus on this here, but that one right there is an amazing spot. Okay, men like to focus on obviously this here. We'll talk about all that, but look at that one right there. Okay, and all of this right here. Okay, we don't really think about this. And I had someone says that he right here around the neck. He did this around my neck, and I felt attacked. I felt like he was raping me, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh no no. And she says, and then after we got to really get to know each other in our relationship, blah blah blah. Then when he did that, I felt, oh, that was so sexy. What is it about that?
That's a good question. Because this is something that comes up a lot in my sessions with couples, specifically with women. So when we get to one of the sessions where we're talking more so about how they're enjoying their sex lives, we get very detailed because it's really important for them to understand how to communicate, their desires to each other. And something that comes up very often is a woman wanting to feel a sense of pressure around her neck by her husband's hands, and not necessarily choking to the point you can't breathe,
Mhm.
but just a little bit more of a force, and it feels like a sense of being dominated. And even in today's society where women are juggling so many hats, especially in the workplace, some women really enjoy being able to kind of fall back into more of a submissive role, which that grabbing of the neck can kind of promote. It's a psychological thing that tends to happen, that sometimes I think we just can't really explain, like in the moment. But all of a sudden, it just kind of makes you feel like, oh, somebody's taking control. I get to just release and just be free and just let whatever happens. And that's a good feeling, when you just think about it, if you're so used to handling and juggling so much and being able to just be dominated, in the bedroom. Even though you don't want your husband dominating you outside the bedroom, you don't want him treating you like, a doormat or anything like that. But in the bedroom, it's amazing how that role just automatically switches. It's like, yes, I do want you to do that to me. Yeah.
And do you think that's innate for a woman to have a need to be overtaken by a man and in a subservient role and be controlled by a man in that area?
Yeah, I think it's always exceptions. It's really, I just don't like talking in absolutes.
Right.
Just because it's always, like I said again, it's exceptions to anything, any and everything. But I think just by nature,
Hmm.
biologically, um, even though women are very capable of doing a lot of things, which has shown in previous years, women actually went out and worked as well. They helped gather things, and they went out and actually supported too their men. But at the same time, I think biologically, women do truly enjoy, in a sense, being dominated and taken care of. And again, everyone can kind of look at that definition in a certain way. It doesn't necessarily mean talked down to, but kind of being like steered and guided in a way, wanting to take direction from someone else. It's a lot of independent women that crave that, no matter how strong or independent they are, they still want to know what it's like for someone to kind of be a little bit above them or a step ahead of them that can guide them.
I agree, and I believe that God made her that way and made him that way in the dominant takeover role. It's just that there needs to be some well balance, and because I like the what you said about being absolute, all right? Because there's some women will right now listen to this say, I don't want no man to do that. I don't feel that way, but yet, come on, stop playing. You really do. You just don't. Some of them don't know
Yeah.
that they are. It's built into them, and they fight against it. They fight
Yeah.
against it, and some unfortunately who have been attacked uh, may say mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. But it's only because that horrible thing happened to you, and so you looked at that as a definition of your whole life moving forward. All right. So let's go back to here. Here's where they're saying the scalp. The scalp is full of nerve endings, and even the slightest brush on the hair can send tingles through the body. They amp up the pleasure. To amp up the pleasure, run your fingernails lightly over the scalp, paying attention, special attention to the space behind the ears and just above the neck. Don't forget about the hair. Hmm. Gentle tugging can send waves of pleasure through the body. Help us out with that.
I so concur with this. I'll share a little story about the scalp situation. So when I used to have locks, and I would get my hair retwisted
I remember
by a
that.
man. Yes,
I remember the
by,
locks. I remember.
I used to get my hair retwisted by a man, and he had a particular way that he would massage, like when he was doing like the shampoo treatment and everything. Like he had a whole thing. Like it was like, look, that's my thing, and this is what I do. It's kind of a part of the service you're paying for. And I would always tell him no. You don't. I just do the typical scratch the scalp, wash the shampoo, and just wash it out. I don't need the whole hoopla that you do. It's great. I'm glad that you're doing your thing and you making good money off of this, but I'm not interested. And he would be like, "You sure? You sure?" No, I'm positive. I know myself, and I know what an erogenous zone is for myself. And even when I would go and get like my monthly massages, they would always ask, "Do you want a scalp massage?" And I'm just like, "Not from my massage therapist. I just don't. I prefer that
Wow.
stays in house."
Wow.
But yeah, that's definitely an erogenous zone for some people.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
That's something. That's something. I did get a massage from, unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately for a reason, a man. My first real massage was a man. And I'm shouting the unfortunate word. Okay, because the female was not on staff that day, and they only had
Mhm.
one left, and that was a man. I did not want a man massaging me. Again, that was my first time getting one, full body, and he went to rubbing. And I'm being honest because I'm as transparent as anybody can try and be, but I'll be there.
Mhm.
He was rubbing, and I was like, "Okay, brother, focus on something spiritual or a tragic moment, or you
Well,
know."
right, because the body does not know. Like if you
Yup.
close your eyes, and granted, a man's hands is maybe a little bit stronger,
Mhm.
harder or things like that. But like the body really doesn't know. So if you are being rubbed in a certain way, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter who's doing it. If your eyes are closed
Yeah.
and it feels good, your body is going to naturally respond to that.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. She said, "Uh oh, he went to rubbing." Yeah. Yeah. So I had to. Like Kim said, "Well, at least you're honest." Man, I love the bunkers. Man, they crazy. All right. Okay. So the ears. Look at this. With sensitive skin on the outside and hundreds of sensors receptors on the inside of the ears, top the list of erogenous zone. The ears top the list. For some sexual oral actions that's sure to please, try lightly kissing, licking, or nibbling your partner's ear lobes. Okay, now to some it don't feel good. It's
Right.
like a wasp up in your ear. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you can also take advantage of those sensory receptors by whispering or lightly blowing into the ear for more tingling feels. Okay, because sometimes my ears are very very sensitive, and
Mhm.
my ex would kiss the lip and it would pop and it ring, and I would tell her, don't kiss my ears, it's too sensitive.
Mhm.
Now you
Yeah.
can whisper in my ears and do something
Mhm.
light in there, but don't overdo it. All right, so help us out with the ear zone.
Yeah, you know what I think this has also contributed to for those of you that tuned into the episode where we were talking about the erotic blueprint. For those of you that have more of a sensual side,
Hmm.
a lot of these things are going to ring true for you in some way. Is that sensitivity to touch and smell and taste? Like a lot of these different things are probably going to kind of send you over the top. But like you mentioned, Walter, like you can be so sensitive
Yep.
that some things can actually not feel good because you're extremely sensitive
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the feeling. And so it's like really being able to guide, your partner on how you like it. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like you say, you could blow, or something like that, but maybe too much licking or putting your tongue in my ear just makes me uncomfortable. So
Hmm.
yeah, so all of that has a lot of nerve endings in there, including your ear. And so that could definitely be an erogenous zone for quite a few people.
Absolutely. Because TJ
Yeah.
even says whisper, she
Mhm.
says, but no blowing or no nibbling.
Yeah.
So that's not this is not exclusive to everyone, but
Right.
at least try it on your mate to see if they like it or not. Okay.
Hmm.
Because the things we're talking about right now, there's some people who can't penetrate because maybe of a medical issue, all right, or something's going on, or maybe it's that time of month and he really wants you. So we're trying to tell y'all there's other erogenous points on the body zones where you both can get pleasure until you're better. Especially if he's anyway. Let me because I was about to say something. Let me go here. Uh, Navel and lower stomach. Now, as I was younger, messing around, I didn't know this part until I got
Hmm.
old and had a mature woman. Okay, being dangerously close to the genitals makes this area especially arousing. Obviously, uh, use your tongue, fingertips, or even a feather to trace circles around the navel and tease your way down and all around the stomach. All right, this is a great spot for some temperature play. So use an ice cube if your partner is into it. That's important because I did try that years ago and I was not into it. Okay. All right. Playing solo, caress the air to get yourselves in the mood. Okay. The navel and the lower stomach. Have you experienced that with a client or maybe you?
Yeah, like you like you mentioned,
Without doing TMI.
like you said, anything that's really kind of close to the genitals is definitely can be like a nice tease. It's almost as if like I know where you're going, and so sometimes it's like the anticipation of it too can be just very tantalizing. So yeah, for sure, stomach area leading closer to the genitalia, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about inner thighs and things like that. But yeah, very close to that area can definitely be an erogenous zone for sure.
Cool. All right. Small of the back, the sacrum. uh, it could have something to do with the fact that the nerves in the portion of the spine area connects to the pelvis or the vulnerability factor of being touched from behind that makes here, right here, being touched from behind. I think
Hmm.
that's important.
Yeah.
That's a vital point right here. It's almost like it doesn't matter where he touched you.
Hmm.
When he comes behind you, there's something about that to women and men.
Hmm.
It's one of the most sexiest moves that a woman could do is just sneak up behind. Anyway, that makes this area so sensitive. Whatever it is, the slightest touch here can evoke pleasure. Tickle the area with a feather or, okay, these must be white people. Ain't nobody got feathers around the house trying to tickle nobody. Feel adventurous. Try an ice cube, vibrator, pinwheel, or some sensory play. All right, small of the back.
Sure.
All right. Any
Yeah, but
comment?
yeah, the feathers. I was like, oh, okay, somebody has feathers sitting around. Like,
White folks got feathers around the house. Baby, get the feather.
but the
Okay.
small of the back is very very erogenous, and I do find that talking about the small of especially a woman's back, I don't hear too much about men speaking about like the actual small of their back, but like you said,
Yeah.
maybe walking up behind them. It's kind of like the unexpected, and it almost kind of feels for men, it can almost kind of come off like even that can be a little submissive. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming to you and I'm just holding you. Like I don't want you to go. But like for women, when it comes to the small of the back, um, I hear a lot more, let's just say a little bit more experience women speaking of that, just because that takes a little bit more exploration. A
Yep.
lot of times, males are not really aware of all of those different spots like that, those
True.
unique spots. That comes from exploring, and you have to be open, to exploring. So that's not something that I hear more so in younger women, probably like under 30. But I would definitely say older than 30 is like, yeah, that's definitely a very nice spot to explore. And you don't have to be in the bedroom to utilize that. You can be out, and just, walking, or if you're on a date and, he touches you in the small of your back, it can definitely kind of get you in that mood as well. So to me, it's like a mood setter to let you know, like, I'm definitely wanting to explore more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the women are going through sexual primes around our age and further up into 60s and
Mhm.
70s. They are, I mean, they are absolutely sexually ready. Unfortunately, the man is not in many cases.
Mhm.
So shows like this is important to keep the relationship going, because if he is he has the inability to get to his stock may not be looking up, or he has not reached higher education, or he doesn't, or his elevator don't go to the 14th floor, right? If he can't see the signs above, then these spots here can really,
Yeah, they
yeah,
Yeah, it
you know what I'm
definitely
saying?
helps. And it helps to understand each other from a biological standpoint. Like you
Absolutely.
said, I mean, naturally, as women continue to age, especially when you start getting closer to menopause, the estrogen levels start to drop and your testosterone starts to rise, which kind of brings out a little bit more of that aggression and just like wanting to just have sex for the idea of just sex, whereas in some men, a lot of times as you all age, then your testosterone levels start to decline a little bit. And actually, your estrogen levels rise. It's always so interesting to me that that's the way biology works because it's like, why can't we just be at the same place at the same
Ain't that
time?
something? That is. Which
Hmm.
brings up the closeness that should be happening
Hmm.
outside of the sex. Because the problem is, if your relationship is based off of the intercourse and there's nothing else there, then that can be a problem.
Yeah.
So you can't,
Hmm.
you wasn't friends first of all, and then you didn't continue to be friends in your marriage. You didn't talk about everything. You didn't share a whole lot of stuff, and so your excitement was, I'm gonna get some sex tonight.
Hmm.
Okay, and then after that, he goes back to the basement. She goes back upstairs, and that's it.
Hmm.
So then, when his testosterone level drops and dips, and he can't, all right. Now, what is it? What's there? It's almost like nothing, void, and then she's on her way of tapping out. All
Hmm.
right, and so there needs to be something there, where again we're talking about this show because when a typical man thinks the ultimate pleasure is penetration, and it is not. I'm trying to tell y'all, it is not. As a man, I'm telling you, it is not. There are so many wonderful things that you can explore in the body. They call it foreplay, that can last sometimes for hours,
Hmm.
and no penetration happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I talk to a lot of women who have men who don't know that part about the body, how important it is to explore and play around with these erogenous spots and zones, and you could do that all day, because once a man enters into you and then he climaxes, in the average guy, he is done, and you left out there like a flower, just like where's the bee? Because I got more pollen.
What do you come up with?
I don't know. I don't know. I only do that when you on the show. Okay. Inner arms and armpits. Inner arms and armpits. Think armpits can be sexy? Two words. Dirty dancing. Ah. Yep. You know that scene where Johnny runs the back of his hands down the baby arms, grazing her armpit. When I was young, I didn't understand that. But when I got older and mature, I knew what that was. She giggles at first, but once she gets past the tickle response, it's totally hot. A light touch is all you need to turn the tickle to a total titillating. Run your fingers, your tongue, or even a feather. Here goes the feather again. Boy, these white folks something else. Okay. Help us out with the arm, the inner arm and the armpits.
It is so funny again talking about all of these areas because there's some that are going to resonate with some of you, and then there's others that's going to be like, "Oh no, don't even touch that area. That's where I put on deodorant. That's where I sweat." But even sometimes that in itself can be a turn on, especially when you think of pheromones and just like the naturalness and the scent of someone, especially like even the underarms. I know it may seem odd to some people because they're like, "Ugh," like I don't, I'm not into that. But even just our natural scent, we're made this way for a reason.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be something that we are excited about, in Western society, we are just different that way. We use things because we feel like, especially like I said, when it comes to like deodorant and
Yep.
perfumes, things like that, like that's kind of more so in our culture. And in some places, that's actually seen as like really like taboo and like really wrong because it messes with just the naturalness of who we are. And so even connecting your under armpits with that, it can be a huge turn on in terms of like an erogenous zone. And I will say that there's really a thin line between being ticklish and being turned on.
Yes.
Because and I recognized that in myself years ago. So I'm just like, yeah, don't tickle me, don't do that because it's not for you,
Not for
So it's not for you. So leave those areas alone. And it be any area, but I am just by nature a ticklish person. But again, I'm a very sensual person by nature too.
yeah.
So a lot of these things really kind of start to overlap when you really think about, what turns you on, what areas you're sensitive to. All of these things are connected, including the armpits.
Good. That's a good way of putting that, including the armpits. All right. So some of these we're going to skip because there's 31 of them, and or we'll be here for 3 hours. All right. So the inner wrists, we'll put that with these guys. Okay. Okay. Now the palm and the hands and fingertips, I would like some kind of elaboration here, because the fingertips are the part of the body most sensitive to touch, and your palms aren't far behind. Place your hand under theirs with your palm facing up, and tickle their palm with the index. Okay, it goes on and on. Are they even talking about some sucking lightly? Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Right there, that can be one of the most sensual things you can do. You're sitting at a restaurant.
Mhm.
You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
All right, and the table is full of folks, and y'all under the table having sex. Everybody can see your faces, but your left hand is on the table and her right hand is under the table, and stuff is going on during dinner. Y'all are having dessert during dinner. All right, help us out with the palm and the hands and the fingertips.
Well, I'll give an example like this. Have you ever seen like a movie or a show where there's chemistry between two people and they've never touched anything like that? They've just had conversation. But the minute, like the scene is about to end and somebody happens to grab the other person's hand and they're kind of like locked in at that moment. It's almost like, yeah, there's so many other places to explore, but this is like the beginning. This is like saying, I want to do more. So I'm just going to kind of give you this signal just by like touching your hand,
Mm-hmm.
rubbing your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like the starting point.
Yes.
It's just kind of letting someone know, like, I'm pretty interested in learning about you more from
Oh,
that standpoint.
that's
So,
good. I like that. I'm really interested about learning a little bit more about you. And Danny says it here. I think it's because you really can't do anything at the table. It becomes more intense. And
mhm.
the sneaky sex is the best sex in the world.
You tell it on yourself, Walter. But
I'm
yeah,
listen. I've been telling myself for 10 years. Bang, 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 bang. You know the scene. They coming out of the bathroom. Okay, that was the greatest. That was the greatest sex. Now they married. All right, and they just want to get the freak on, and they in the house with folks. Go in the restroom and bang it out. Got my own self blushing at my own comments. Okay, it is when it's done in secret. It is the sexiest. You was getting ready to say
it's that
something before.
taboo.
Yeah, taboo.
Yeah, it's that taboo. It can be extremely sexy. It's the
Mm,
forbidden. And
yep.
and if we think about ourselves from just a natural standpoint again, the forbidden is always something. Even as kids, kids are always kind of like sneaking and doing things. They're trying to test their limits because it's just something that they're technically not supposed to do. And anything that we're not supposed to do,
Yep.
we tend
Yep.
to get a little bit more excited
Come
about.
on, you better say that. Lisa said, I ain't saying nothing. Melody, I like that. Stolen water is sweet.
Mhm.
It is the
Yeah.
sweetest. All right, so this whole palm and hands thing is something. I remember years ago, I was at this girl I really liked, and I'm at the organ. I'm just sitting there, and she came by the organ and just stood there. People in the choir was hanging around. You know, we were talking. It was after choir
Hmm.
rehearsal, and I'm standing there and talking to people, and she's standing there, and her hand was on the organ, and I reached over there and just lightly rubbed her finger like that, and an exhilarating. I mean, both of us almost had a. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Behind the knee, okay. Do you need to elaborate on that?
I really don't. Like, I'm gonna put that in a category with the small of the back
There
for a
you
lot of
go.
women. Again, it's a hidden gem. Let's say
Yes,
that. So very
it's a
hidden
hidden
gem.
gem. The
Mhm.
areola and the nipples, that's really basically yes. Now there are some women that don't really care for the licking of the nipple.
Yeah.
Help us out.
And again, everybody is different. But believe it or not, and this is very helpful sometimes too, if you are looking to help your woman achieve an orgasm,
Mm-hmm.
and penetration is just not doing it for her.
Yeah.
It's doing it for you, but it's not doing it for her.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we'll talk about clitoral stimulation, things like that, but nipple stimulation while actually penetrating can definitely bring her to an orgasm. But you need to know what kind of pressure she likes. Some people like a really light, lick or light suck. Some people are a little bit more aggressive. Some women may want it tugged on a little bit or even kind of bitten. So you need to know, what her, I guess, pain level is with that and what she enjoys. But that can actually bring her to an orgasm while you're penetrating her,
Yeah.
actually caressing and massaging, licking the nipples at the same time.
Because
Yeah.
there's a connection of the head bone
Yeah.
connected to the neck bone, stuff like that. Okay. So there are a couple things that couples can be doing that would really
Hmm.
bring excitement to the sexual
Hmm.
experience. Because
Yeah.
just doing one thing can be great, but doing another thing, and sometimes you can do three things at the same
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
And because maybe you're ambidextrous, I don't know. Okay, you're right, and you can be doing these things that can really drive her wild. All right,
Yeah.
and trust
And
me. Uh huh.
And nipple play too, like you can actually bring her to an orgasmic experience even without penetration by just touching her breast and her nipple. So
Yeah.
that has a lot of nerve endings in it as well. And it's funny because something happens with women when it comes to breastfeeding. It is stimulated in order to bring the milk down, but there's not an erotic feeling with that. But then the brain can literally switch when that's being caressed by your partner and can definitely, get her very excited. So don't leave the breast out. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people forget, but they are there right in front of you for a reason. So
And they
play with
don't
them.
and they don't have to be so big and fluffy either. They could be
No,
very small,
no.
just a nipple
Mhm.
there, and it could still have the same
Yeah.
feeling as a full breast.
Mhm.
Because a lot of men look for full breasts, and he think
Mhm.
he can't be satisfied because she don't have full
Yeah.
breasts. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. B Harris says, "Wow, what did I click on?" And somebody text me and say, "Y'all going porno? Is this stuff censored?" I told y'all. I told y'all. You have to keep dating in your marriage, meaning dates, flirts, lingerie, music. Same thing y'all did at the beginning. Me and my hubby been married 22 years. Anacia, Diaz, come on, girl. Teach us.
Yeah,
Teach
for
us.
sure.
Teach us. All right. Mouth and lips. All right. This is an obvious thing. Kissing is an art.
Hmm.
Okay. I really don't have to really read that because kissing is absolutely an
Hmm.
art form that everybody cannot do. Am I testifying? Have I been
You
testifying since I've been?
are. You are.
I've been, been testifying.
But anyone can learn. It's
Yes.
just about being open to these things. I think kissing allows you to stay in the moment, and not really rush the moment. Like you can still touch one another while you're kissing, but visualize while you're kissing. Like take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time
Take your
and
time.
ask, because again, some people like kissing with a closed mouth, some people like open mouth, some people like tongue everywhere. It's just, the only way that you'll know is if you try.
If
You have to
you,
be willing to
that's
explore.
good.
Hmm.
That's real good. I mean, because some people, they kiss during the
Hmm.
whole session, whether they're penetrating, whether they're doing something with their hands, what have you.
Hmm.
Kissing is a important part of like the foundational part of it, because
Yeah.
sometimes in many cases, the kissing actually keeps the excitement
Hmm.
going.
Yeah.
And for a man who's struggling with his man parts, kissing can actually, um, even if it's temporarily, give him
Hmm.
a rise.
Yeah.
And this is why, um, Mother Mayhem says, "Y'all better not kiss because kiss leads to something else." She actually got that one right. I'm gonna give Mother Mayhem.
It's almost a preview too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, sometimes I think, especially for women, I think sometimes we kind of determine what the sexual experience is going to be like based off of that kissing at the beginning.
yep.
So sometimes it kind of, lets you know, like, okay, they are comfortable, within themselves and with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine what it would be like if we take it, further. Not all the time, but that can give you a preview.
Yep, that can give you a preview. That's good. Okay, and they're talking about the neck here. When it comes to the neck, even the slightest touch can make your entire body tingle. Wrap your arms around the partner and run your finger nails along the back of their neck, moving to the area behind the ears before making your way around the front. Move on to the softly to kissing the sides and the front of the neck before working your way to the lips. Goes on. You agree with that whole neck attack?
Mhm. Yeah, and that could be for both men and women,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
definitely. So, and I know we've been talking a lot more about like the woman's side, but
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that can be for both.
Oh yeah, yeah. That neck is probably why I gotta
Turtleneck. Oh.
turn neck on because I don't want y'all. I don't want y'all getting all involved in my neck. Okay, that's a sensitive. No, I'm not trying to hide no. What y'all call them things?
Back in the day,
Yeah,
hickeys.
we used to get those. And you knew you had a girlfriend, boy. They knew you had a girlfriend. Them hickeys, man, and my skin being very sensitive, and she lick that thing for 5 seconds, and it'd be this big. So
Not this big.
it'd be that big. I got a goiter on my neck. So I'd be like, you know what, y'all? Boy, he sure can dress. He dressed all the way up to his chin. Yeah, I'm trying to have something. Oh man, am I testifying? Huh?
You on point. That's it. On point.
I'm testifying. Okay, inner thighs. All right, you want to do something with that?
Yeah, just kind of like what I was mentioning earlier. Again, that's very close, to the genitalia area, and so again, it's kind of like a tease. It's like you right there, just get right there, So it
Ah,
does kind of anticipate.
right there.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that's well. Let's let me read that since you put that right there. You Paquito. Okay, the inner thighs are so sensitive and so close. Yeah, you said it to the ultimate erogenous zone that even just a graze can set your. That's funny how they put that.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. Again, I'm testifying, y'all. I'm testifying. Did I had an ex, okay, who I made a mistake and grazed her in that area.
Yeah. You made a mistake. Yeah.
I made a mistake. I grazed her in that area. She climaxed. I said, "Are you okay?" I said, "You
I'm
speaking in
still
tongues?"
trying to. I'm still trying to get back to how do we mistakenly graze?
I think I was reaching for the Bible and it was between a
Oh
leg.
yeah.
I don't know. Move out. Let me get this Bible and see, because I was holy. All right, let me get this Bible and that grace shit. I said, church is over. You can't be speaking in tongues right now. The service is over. I said, you all right? And she told me later on, she said, I'm like, that easy? She said, yeah, you can't. You can't. Now, all women are not that sensitive. Okay. But that girl right there, I had to let that one go because it was quite difficult to hold that relationship down. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Uh, bottom
Oh,
of bottom of feet and toes. Now, if you're ticklish, you can't do this.
exactly. Yeah. And see that's me. Like, so it's something that happens in my brain. When I go and get a pedicure, I'm fine. Like there's no unless I get a nail tech that is just really having a
Ah,
good time with my feet. Like
mhm.
they are just really enjoying the whole experience. Sometimes I'm like, hold up, because we're not going there. Do these feet and let's keep it moving because I know myself, So yeah, so the feet area could be very very sensitive, and I think that's for actually a lot of people. I think a lot of people typically are
Yeah.
pretty ticklish around their feet. But yeah, like I said, it's always that it's like a thin line between being tickled and actually, feeling like some eroticism
Yeah.
from that experience. So
Right. You're right.
yeah, you just have to be aware of yourself.
Be aware of yourself. Be aware of yourself. Danny says if your future wife is listening, she's learning you today. Oh, man, yeah, she definitely is. All right, now we're getting ready to get into the ones you definitely are aware of. All right, these are typical, but maybe some things about these spots you don't know because again, you might have been born and raised in the Church of God in Christ and in penetration only, and that's it. This may seem pretty obvious, but the vaginal and the penile regions contain numerous other erogenous zones within them. All right, within them. All right, for those of you who are virgins and young folks and may not know, this is a clitoris. Okay, all right. So this is the clitoris, but this is the G spot here. There's a difference between the two. Okay, G marks the spot. Okay, so if you're looking for gold, G marks the spot. All right, but there's things going on in the clitoris
Mhm.
that, and now help us out here, Andrew.
Yes.
There's
So,
oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
I,
Walter.
I was I was done. I was done.
Okay. You know, a good way to look at this, and this has been discussed too, like with between sex therapists and sex coaches and things like that. But like when you think of the clitoris, and then you think about the penis, they both kind of have this not similar feeling because obviously men are different from women and vice versa.
Yeah.
But both of those body parts can become engorged with
Yep.
blood when
Yep.
aroused,
Yep.
right? So obviously, when the penis gets aroused and erect, there's blood flowing through there, and it gets very hard. And so, an indication too, when a woman is very excited, sexually, her clitoris starts to become engorged with blood, and it also gets a little hard as well, and it protrudes. So then, like the labia, which is street term lips,
Mm-hmm.
kind of start to kind of spread out a little bit, and it makes room for that clitoris to kind of come through, and so it's protruding, and it's actually kind of telling you, "Hello, I'm here," and I want to be stimulated. And so, if you look at it from that standpoint, know that for a lot of women, it does take, some type of like playing around with that, touching it, rubbing it, licking it, sucking it in order to really kind of get a woman a lot more relaxed and comfortable. And she becomes a lot more, wet, should we say. And so that's her signaling, I am ready for penetration. But that's an area that you definitely don't want to leave out for a lot of women. Now, there are some women that do not like that oral stimulation. That's why it's good to communicate. It's good to
Absolutely.
ask. But that is a way to look at it from the standpoint of like, yeah, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of that, just like for a man. And that's a signal that a man is ready when he is erect as well. So,
Three of the
yeah.
words that you will never hear at some of y'all's churches: touching it, licking it, and sucking it. Because I heard all three just a minute about a minute.
Hey, right.
Telling y'all, I told y'all this is not for the faint at heart. Okay, even Tamika said, "Come on, Angie." All right. And again, this may not be your forte. For those of you who watch this, it may be a sin to you to lick the vagina. That is a sin to you. It's not for you. Walk away from that. Okay. And if you feel that it is a sin and you're doing it, it's a sin. It's a sin. But outside of that, we're talking about things that is enjoyable to people who enjoy doing it. And again, this show may not be for you. All right. Matter of fact, I done lost at least probably 120 listeners for the Sirwalterj Jones show. I lost 120 of them. They gone. They ain't never returning to this show. And and I can guarantee you half of them they're so here public mount. Public mount. I'm trying to stay out of folks' bedrooms, okay? The fleshly mount just above the clitoris is rich in nerve endings, and this is what you kind of saying that are connected to the genital, the massaging the area and up. Yeah, you pretty much touched it. Okay, all right. You mentioned the clitoris, the small pleasure, bud containing 8,000 nerve endings. That's a
That's
lot
a
of
lot.
nerve.
It's a lot of nerve.
You got your nerves. Next time, brothers, you in bed with your wife, she's tingling. Just say, "Girl, you got your nerve." Okay, and it's covered by a hood.
Hmm.
Covered by a hood. Um, all right. So you mentioned a lot of this. Okay, what about fingering? That's exciting for some and not exciting for others.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think too, fingering, I think, let's say it like this. So obviously, when you are, for women, like if you're a virgin, younger, you're still kind of learning your body. That can be a little bit more comfortable for you in terms of like size. So, like, obviously, a penis would more than likely be bigger. That's the hope, right? But so yeah, so that might be fun for you when you're first kind of like starting to learn your body and you're starting to explore yourself. Like the fingers could possibly do the job. And sometimes too, don't count fingering out in your foreplay though. So even though that may not be the main dish, or the main attraction, when you're just, starting your foreplay and you're kind of getting someone in the mood, that can also still, turn each other on. And that could be again for women and men, because for a woman you could be, fingering her in the vagina area. For a man, if we're honest, you could be fingering him in the anal area.
True.
So I just put that out there as well, because
Yep.
that can also be a turn on, and an erogenous.
Uh-oh. We lost Angie. She was going there, and I'm sure we will get her back when she chimes back in. She will be calling back in. All right. Roddy says, "So is it getting on my last nerve, good or bad?" No pastor has any business telling a couple what to do in the bedroom as long as it does not offend the person's conscience. That's true, Sydney. Dr. Sydney, you are absolutely correct. All right. Nobody have a business. No pastor, he says, and no mother, no missionary, no. All right. Let me tell her to call back. And she might have lost. Her battery might have died. I don't know what she's on. It could have been anything. I hope she's able to come back because I'm glad we got in at least 53 minutes into the good stuff. But let me continue. I did say a public mount, but it's pubic mount. My bad. I said public, but the pubic mount here. Then there's an A spot and not just a G spot. Trying to log back in now. Okay, I hope she can. There she is. All right. There she is. All right. Let's see. Mm. So you didn't really care about us, so you just dropped it like a hot pancake, huh? Dropped the,
Soon as I said anal, it just
yeah,
went like, bloop.
and your computer went anal on us. That makes no sense. Just went anal on us. I was educating the people on the word pubic and not public. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I said
yes.
public. It's pubic. All right. So there's an A spot. The lower part of the vaginal opening is full of erotically charged nerve endings and the home to the anterior fornix. I never even heard of the A spot. Hmm. Fingers, dildo, penis to penetrate the vagina. Goes on. So we talked about the G spot. All right. Cervix. Okay. These are all women's parts.
Hmm.
Here's the man's part. All right. The glands, the frenulum. All right. The man would say, I just want to put the head in. I just want to put the head in. How many little boys have played that game? I don't want to.
And it was
Yeah,
lying.
I just want to put the tip in. And that silly little girl said, okay, if you just don't put all of it in, just put the tip in. She didn't realize that the tip is the most sensuous part of his body. All right, without the tip, well, and then there's the perineum. All right, the perineum. All right, and we have a name. Let me. We have another
Yeah,
name.
don't count that part out.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
definitely that. Yeah, that's a very
is very
sensitive
vital.
area. Yes, and
Mm,
a lot of times, and I don't want to speak for men because I'm not a man, but from what I've observed and working with men as well, sometimes because again it's this thought process in society, where we think like that's a little too close to the anus, that's going to determine something else about me that is not true.
yeah,
And that's not the case. It's a very, very sensitive area, erogenous zone, that women, even when you're providing oral stimulation to your husband, definitely lightly kind of go in that area and see what the response is. Just see what the response is. I wouldn't say just automatically just go there, but if you're providing some oral stimulations, take your mouth a little further
yeah.
in that area if you're comfortable,
If you're comfortable.
and see what his response is like. If he does not stop you,
Mm-hmm.
and if he kind of widens up a little bit
Yep.
for you, that's a clear indication that there's some enjoyment there. You can keep going.
Yep.
Okay,
There
so
you go. That's good. I like that. And he don't. A lot of times he don't know to tell you that he likes it.
exactly.
There's some men are very nervous or shy, or they may feel like they're done punked out if you do certain things.
Hmm.
So when he touches it, I agree with you. Watch his body response. The widening will let you know
Hmm.
like that. All
Yeah.
right, and so that part is very important, and many men like it to be touched while you're doing other things.
Hmm.
If you're getting fellatio, he likes for that part to even be rubbed. You know, so as you can see, the medical terminologies for them, scrotum, testicle, we all know them as. Okay, all right. Hey, y'all, listen, I'm human. Okay, I'm human. The glans penis is what's known as the head. All right, and women always say, "You're thinking with your other head." All right. Thanks to 4,000 nerve endings, it's the most sensitive part of the penis. That's why he said, "Let me just put the tip in." Oh, that tip got 4,000 nerve endings in it. All right. All right, the print, and they talk about all of the terms here: the foreskin, the scrotum. Okay, we all of these here. Prostate. Okay, this walnut-sized gland sits at the root of the penis and can lead to powerful sheet-twisting orgasms. You can only reach the P spot via B town. Man, I tell you. So a well-lubed finger or prostate vibrator works best.
Hmm.
Now we're getting into some things that may be extremely uncomfortable for some brothers. Gently insert your finger or vibrator or a couple of inches into the scrotum. All right, this could get very delicate.
Hmm.
All right, even talking about it, some of y'all are scrimmaging. Okay, right? So that part right there uh, can get extremely. Uh, my earlier point about how a woman would go there and the man and would be like, "Whoa, whoa, don't do that," although he may like it.
Mhm.
Help us out with that.
Yeah, again, if we think about a lot of this stuff when it comes to sex, a lot of it just really derives from our societal norms. You could go to another part of the world where different things would be totally accepted and embraced, and then you're here and it's like, oh, we don't do that. Like, even if it feels good to you, it's like, no, we don't do that. And that's what conditioning does. Like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right.
It's just conditioning. It's just how we've been conditioned to view sex and how we look at it and what can we do with it. And again, exploration can be an amazing thing with someone you truly care about. You all are both on the same page because, like you said, you showed that diagram at the beginning, and it's like tons of places just for a woman alone that you could be exploring that you're missing out on. So I would just say don't count these things out. I would definitely say if you're in a committed relationship, you're married, enjoy each other. You're not bringing in a third or fourth or
Yep.
fifth person.
Yep.
You're not recording it for the world to see. It's just
Right.
the two of you all allowing yourselves to be free and to be free in what feels good. And that's what pleasure is. And you just never know, like you say, you never know what you enjoy until it's explored, and then you're like, oh wow, I did not even know that was something that I would enjoy. When it comes to like the prostate, we're talking about anal. Again, that is something that you really have to be careful with.
Hmm.
In terms of that, that's not an area that's naturally lubricated, which is why they talked about lube.
Yep.
You could really hurt yourself and damage
Yep.
parts of your body doing different things just for the sake of exploration. So, just tread lightly in your exploration too.
I liked where you put that. That's pretty good. I'm glad you said it and not me. They would not have accepted it from me. Cindy said you have lost most apostolic and Pentecostal women, but the Baptist women are hanging in there. Man, I know what you mean, brother. Okay, all the Baptist women say, "Hey." Okay. Now, right quick, because I'm ending the show, and I'm just gonna go through this right quick. This is the other website, and see if they are saying the same thing we're saying. Why are you going through the men stuff so? Danny said, "Why are you going through the men stuff so fast?"
He like, I want my tab too. We need our tab.
No, my bad, Danny. I'm bad. My bad, man. I'm bad. We've been an hour in, and I guess I don't know. It must be me being a man. I was worried about the women. Okay, the nape of the neck, the pubic mound. Okay, the inner thighs. We talk about that. The armpits, the increase of the thigh, the ears, the stomach. Great
Mhm.
spot.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that until I was much older. I realized
Mhm.
that stomach has a lot to do with her pleasure. The hands, the crook of the arm, the bottoms of the feet. I think we kind of mentioned that. The tickling
Mhm.
in between your toes.
Mhm.
All right, that can be quite central. And the licking of the toes.
Yep.
All right, I've
Mhm.
had that done once to me, and I didn't know that. Anyway, the inside of the ankle,
Mhm.
the you mentioned this, the labia. I think you
Yeah.
mentioned
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
The lips, the scalp. All
Mhm.
right, the anus, the butt cheeks. You know, women reach for the butt. Some men were like, "Hey," but he like that. Stop playing. He like when you rub his booty. Stop playing, man. Man up and enjoy your woman. Right? Interior wall, the brain, okay,
Mhm.
the earlobes, the inner knee, the A spot mentioned that, the lower back, the nipples, okay, they're doing the same thing. The breast,
Mhm.
the frenum, the frenulum, the Achilles tendon, okay, the V spot. We heard about the A, we heard about the G, and there's a V spot,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay, the wrist, the prostate, and so they gave their 31 list there.
Yeah. Which is the entire body. So just look at it from the standpoint that any area of your body can be an erogenous zone, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't limit you to just one or two ways of pleasure. Like that's very exciting that, like you said, again, if there are maybe some health issues, maybe physical limitations where you can't do, certain things, there's so many other things to explore. Like just don't limit yourself at all.
So many things to explore. Don't limit yourself, y'all. Angie been on the show for several months right now, and she has been a huge blessing to many of us. All right, those of you who supported her in her books, thank you for going to Amazon and other places to purchase her. I like to make sure that my guests get what I call the bunker bump. Okay,
Oh,
the bunker
thank you.
bump. Right? And I want the bunker bump to come in full force. If you really enjoyed it, and many of you have been telling me you've been enjoying Angie, you can't wait for her to come on. Well, the best way to show your support is to go ahead and go to that Cash App. Leisure read and read it right, okay? Read it right. Check that Cash App and check it again. Make sure you're spelling it right. Leisure read, that's her Cash App. Go ahead and be a blessing to that girl. She has blessed us, and I think she has really helped a lot of marriages, all right, be a little more healthier in the bed, all right? And when that bed is healthy, almost everything else in
It
it.
say, it saves a lot of
Yeah,
marriages sometimes. Sometimes sex is where it's saved, and then we can work to the next level.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. We sure can because there's a lot of, especially if couples are talking to each other in bed.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right, that they call pillow talk. All right.
Hmm.
Some people like to hear noises and sounds and stuff during sex. That helps the person know that he's involved or she's involved. She cares for me. It's a mutual communication. All right, making the groans and the moans and what have you, and say my name or using. Some people use four-letter words. Hey, hey, whatever floats your boat. Okay, that's what you do. Do what you do. Okay, but they want to hear some audible sounds because that is a part of the closeness. So it's not just what
Hmm.
is physical touch, but it's that which is audible. Because women hear things and they become things excrete out of them when they hear audible things. Okay, and they're ah, hold on.
This has been like seriously really a lot of fun. Like I just
I had to pause for the cause because I got myself excited. Paquito, I got excited. All right, so when women, the man got to know his wife. He really need to know, and so
yeah.
to explore her, talk to her about how to explore, try
Mhm.
some things, and her body signals will tell you she like it or she don't. I will also say, Angie, that some things that she don't like, she could get to like.
Mhm. Yeah.
She could
Yes.
get to like. One of the most popular shows I did was Walking in the Park, Romance in the Park. I talked about doing it missionary style, not anal sex, but just
Yeah.
missionary style.
Hmm.
And one of the young ladies said it hurt her, to do that. I think the bunkers remember that show, and it hurt her, and she was like, "What do I do?" I said, first of all, you should go to someone, but since you're talking to me, let me tell you what I think is going on. It could be a medical issue. You may need to go to your
Yeah.
doctor because it hurts when she does that. That's medical. You need to go to your doctor and see what is it because he really enjoy it. You don't because of the pain.
Hmm.
But maybe you
Yeah.
all could try some things and some maneuvers. But you need to talk to him though because maybe he is a bull in a china cabinet, a china
Hmm.
store. He's always ramming it,
Hmm.
and he doesn't understand the sensitivity behind doing it in that position. And he needs to
Yeah.
explore your body and find ways to make it pleasurable that both of you
Hmm.
then can enjoy. So she did. She went to the doctor, told her what it was. She talked to him about it. They communicated with it. They tried different positions in the doggy style to
Hmm.
see how he can enjoy himself and she won't be in pain.
Hmm.
And he found a way to do it where she could just bend down just a little bit more, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And once that happened, she realized that it was easy and it was less painful. And then it became one of her favorite positions.
Hmm. Yeah, and
All,
that
all,
increases intimacy for sure. Like
absolutely.
when you've, had some challenges like that in the
Hmm.
bedroom and you all have figured out, what works for both of you all, you'd be
Hmm.
amazed how much that just brings you closer, and not just physically, but like emotionally too, because you feel heard, you feel seen, and you feel like, you know, I'm prioritized and my pleasure is important to you too. So that can definitely, you know, strengthen the bond that you all have with each other. So,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my pleasure is important to you, and your pleasure is important to me. And when a man sees a woman, when he's facing a woman and she's in a dogged position, to some men, it is the most uh, 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 sexually charged thing that he could see, because it's like he's part of an animal kingdom, pretty much.
mhm,
And that is the conqueror in him, the predator, in a sense, in him. All right, that he wants to take. And
mhm,
when he sees that position, he wants to enjoy it. When he can't enjoy it, he may not. He may see missionary style as boring to him.
mhm.
He's going to get off. He's going to climax, yes, but it's like whatever,
Yeah,
So he wants to really enjoy that, and so I'm so glad that they were able to talk about it, so that he can really enjoy conquering his wife. She, in return, won't feel like it's a chore and it's painful. I'm gonna please him, but I really don't want to do it. You never want to be in a relationship like that,
yeah,
where you're having sex and you having a sexual position with her, and she don't like it, but she's doing it for you because you like it. That is a horrible position for a
yeah,
man's ego,
mhm,
and then he literally feels that he's raping his wife,
yeah,
even though he likes to do it. So he needs to talk to her about a position that he likes, all right, and so that hopefully that she could come to a commonality. His hope is that she will eventually start enjoying it, but they need to talk about it.
mhm,
Yeah.
for sure.
Angie,
Yeah.
listen, we're going to wish you the best of all success for 2023. You
Thank you
have
so
definitely,
much.
you have definitely been a blessing to our show, man. You are the rare, not one. You are the rarest guest we have ever had in my 10 years of being a content creator. And you have the bunkers have enjoyed you immensely. I get many messages, a lot about you, a
Oh,
lot,
thank
more
you.
than I can count.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I appreciate everyone on here just accepting me and embracing me too. Because you never know. You know, you walk into a show and you're just trying to share information. So I really, really appreciate, you know, people tuning in and just the positivity and any questions you all have. Please don't hesitate to reach out,
Awesome.
angiedlee.com. I love to hear from you all.
Awesome. AngieDD.com. All right, y'all go there, support her. Please send her something for Christmas up there. She got babies, y'all. Right? She got babies, right? Go right there to Leisure Read, and send her a blessing. I'm about to sow a hundred in there myself.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
God bless.
I would give more, but I got grandbabies. I would give more. My grandbabies are trying to eat me up. All right. All right. So be looking out for that, and others will be sending it as well. Okay, y'all. Take care of yourselves and one another. Angie, I love you, girl.
Love you too.
Man, give my love to your family. I've known you for, was it 30? I don't know.
You know, it ain't been that long, man. Oh, don't make it seem.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
It's been about 25.
It's been
Let's
about 25, but I've known your father
yeah.
for about 40 years.
Yeah.
See, y'all don't know that. I know her mother and father before she was born. I knew her mother and father.
Uh-huh.
Right, so it's been a long time. Her
Hmm.
family is actually close. We're almost cousins. For those of you who
Hmm.
may not know that, her family is the Dickersons.
Yeah.
My family married the Dickersons. Right, my auntie Ida B. Jones is a Dickerson.
Hmm.
That's her cousin.
Isn't it something?
Yeah,
We're all
yeah,
connected.
we're all connected. So her cousin and my auntie are they met. So anyway, we cousins, we just don't we just don't accept it. We don't accept it. All right. Take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
To her, that is, by her. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for supporting her. Thank y'all for being such wonderful people of God. And again, I know that subject was a little shaky. It made some of y'all really sweat because it is a subject matter that you just don't talk about in front of people. Well, the Sirwalterj show talks about this stuff in front of people because I want to help you. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. And guess what? I'm going to keep doing this in 2023, or depending on what time you all are watching this, you might be watching this in 2024. Well, we've been talking about it for 2 years now. All right. Thank you, Solandra. She said she sold. Amen. Okay. So I want to be able to talk about everything because y'all going through all kind of stuff. Y'all going through all kind of sexual stuff as well as spiritual and physical and financial. Listen, if you can't go to whom y'all call your elder or your pastor, whoever, whatever y'all call me, if you can't go to me for any and everything, and I don't lead y'all to the right people, what good am I? So things that are above my pay grade, I bring somebody on the show and talk about it. All right. I will never talk about something that's so deep that I can't handle without sending you to a website or to I'll have someone on the show and say, that's her, that's what she do. Let's talk about it. Let me be the go-between, the mediator between your question and the answer. If that's okay with you. All right? You're going to get an answer. Even if the answer is nobody knows. All right? Nobody knows. All right, take care of yourselves. Be sure to sow into her. And I'll see you all. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I guess this week we're just throwing stuff in the air. I don't know what we're going to do this week. It's the week of Christmas. So I don't know. We're going to do something. I don't know. I'll go live, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And next week, I think I'm going to do the best of the Sirwalterj show. For next week's starting the 26th, 27th. So we got a whole week of the last week of December. We can do the best of the Sirwalterj show, so I can play some reruns of some of the best stuff. And maybe we can do that next week. All right. Other than that, take care of yourselves and one another. Bye. What are you saying here? Facts. I appreciate it. That's why you different. ID. I appreciate you. Give my love to that man. I called my electric company. They had to literally come to my house. True statement. See what I tell you? All right. Bye. Bye. I just had to buy another one of these. All right. And so I'm gonna try some stuff out, y'all, because I'm always trying to upgrade the show. All right. Because I have this mic right here. Okay. And that's my podcast mic. And so in 2023, you all are going to be seeing a whole new different wallpaper. Get ready. We're about to hit it heavy. Bye-bye.
Well, goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Bye. Goodbye. 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 Bye. Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Girl A. Sex is her superpower. This woman got skills, but adds no value to him. Girl B. Her brains and beauty is her birthright. She's his eye candy and his arm piece. Girl C. She's his mama, his teacher, his better half, his soulmate, and the apple of his eye. Girl D. She's dangerously desperate. She's his thin line between love and hate, and his fatal attraction. All that and more in the 7-volume book series, The Men's Chronicles, A Woman's Guide to Men by Sirwalterj. Volume 1 is entitled The 4 Women That Men Desire. Go to Amazon.com today for your copy.